Welcome back to Canadian Justice, where we're discussing the Law Society of Ontario, how it's governed, and whether it's being governed appropriately well, if it's being well managed, and some of the recent scandals, including the CEO compensation that have been plaguing this professional regulator. Now, Jared, I want to talk about what the priorities of the Law Society really need to be. We've talked about these DEI initiatives that they had for a few years. We've talked about this huge compensation for the CEO. For me personally, as a lawyer, I have had a big frustration with the actual fees that you need to pay to be licensed as a lawyer. And when you compare those fees with the value that you actually are getting from the Law Society. So this year, the Law Society changed over the electronic portal. This is a personal grievance, but for me, it has been a huge mess. The system is not working properly. And really, this is literally my only interaction with the Law Society every year, and it doesn't work. And then the CEO is being paid $1 million a year. So, what is going on? What are we supposed to expect our regulator to actually be doing in order to justify the fees that seem to be ever increasing?
So your frustration is echoing the growth in your annual reporting requirements, and that's a representative of the one-way policy ratchet that you happen to see at regulators like the Law Society. More is always better in the eyes of some of these of some of the governors that govern the profession. Unfortunately, um, the Law Society of Ontario has a mandate. It's a statutory mandate. It should stick to that statutory mandate, and that is you want to make sure that those who want to provide legal services in the province of Ontario meet certain minimum requirements, competency requirements, and then you want to be able to monitor that competency. So any lawyers or paralegals who step out of line, you want to obviously have a mechanism and a process by which you can pursue those people and make sure that you're regulating the provision of legal services. So I think it should do those two things. Unfortunately, it's taken on every little pet project and little political initiative that has struck the minds of the board over the last few years, and that's why you're getting the frustrating experiences that you're getting right now.
Yeah, John, what do you think? What do you think the Law Society really should be focusing on um, in order to have us actually getting value for the money that we pay for our professional fees?
As Jared has said, ensuring competency and honesty of practicing lawyers and paralegals are at the top of the list, absolutely at the top. Another priority is holding down the costs of the administration of the Law Society. We must be mindful of the affordability of legal services for people of modest means. Any unnecessary expenses in the practice of law are to be avoided. Another point, if there is any actual discrimination in the legal profession based on considerations such as ethnic background, so-called race, etc., that actual discrimination can and should be addressed by a variant of the discipline process: accusation, evidence, facts, proofs. I spoke of this uh, in the fall of 2022 in Canadian Lawyer magazine about how we could set up a system where well-founded complaints could be addressed. There are ways to do things properly and achieve unnecessary goals at reasonable cost.
Jared, we've only got about 30 seconds left. If other lawyers are frustrated like I am, what can we do to help improve how the regulator functions?
Get involved, get vocal, speak your mind. The Law Society is consistently seeking feedback from the profession. You'll want to enlist the public, obviously, in that same process. Get engaged in the bench or elections. Get engaged in all the opportunities that are presented to give feedback to the Law Society.
Well, I want to thank both of you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise in this area.
Thanks for having me on.
We've heard today from critics of Ontario's Law Society and some of the recent scandals, expenses, and overreaches by the legal regulator. We've also heard about how this seemingly esoteric issue will actually affect any person in Ontario who needs access to justice and legal services by driving up the cost and availability of those services. What can be done to improve governance at the LSO? You be the judge. Thanks for watching, and remember, a freer Canada starts with you.